guys already know this is the main one tapping in all the way from H-Town, Houston, Texas. I'm here with my boy T.A.G.
T.A.G.
T.A.G sucks.
T.A.G, very nice, very evil.
T.A.G's gonna kill you.
That's T.A.G shit.
Whose house? T.A.G's house, baby.
The only thing we're gonna do is take over, baby.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
Free fall as I die through the kaleidoscope in my mind. No rope up to climb. Gotta remind myself that I'm fine. Mama.
What up, T.A.G Nation? It's your boy Scoot. This is another episode of NXT.A.G, and let's get into it. Now, we are on the road to Great American Bash. It is the first NXT PLE in the CW era, and is airing Sunday, June 28th at 6 p.m. You know what I'm saying? They're giving it like a little 3-hour buffer because those who watch NXT know when that 9 o'clock hit, show is off, getting sued. Now, before we really get off into this episode, I was not mad at any match they actually had on this card. I feel the 4 to 5 matches that they had actually slaps. And this started it off. As you see, we have Fraxum taking on the new tandem of Romeo Moreno and Noam Dar. Now, it kind of started as like a little ha about Moreno and Dar teaming up, but they did, and they went against Fraxium. And boy, they showed up and showed out. Fraxium was looking like Fraxium of old, back when they was doing a thing on NXT. Like, in all honesty, the way these 4 gentlemen went out there and do it, you would have thought like the NXT Tag Team Championships or something like that was on the line, because it was a duel. Ultimately, Fraxium did come out on top, but man, the false finishes, the back and forth, yeah, it was a legit match. Then after the match, Fraxium was showing love to Moreno and Dar, and pretty much, because you know, Dar was like, I'm not trying to be in no tag team, I'm not trying to and all of that. And straight up, they were saying that, hey, we wasn't trying to be a tag team either, and you see where we at. And they was like, hey, maybe you just met your tag team partner kind of energy. So hey, Moreno and Dar, maybe a new tag team tandem in these NXT streets that we got to look forward to and look out for. But yeah, it was a solid match, especially to open the show. Solid match. Then we get a backstage segment with Ren QCC, aka Ren Sinclair, and Kendall Gray. And Kendall has a match against Kalani Jordan to determine who's going to be the #1 contender for Lola Vice at Great American Bash. And then, you know, eventually Lola does come and she's like, hey, I didn't mean to hit you in the face. And, you know, Kendall was like, look, I can understand, you know, the first time, but the second time, come on now. And you know, and pretty much, you know, Lola was like, look, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you, big dog. All I'm saying is I ain't mean to deck you. I didn't mean to deck you. So the deal, it moves on. Now, I'm going to give you all the parts. You know what? I'm not going to give you all the parts now. I'm going to break it up in the way they broke it up in the show. Now, Shiloh Hill, Tristan Angels was going to see who's going to be Mr. NXT. And they did it pageant style. 2 of the segments was backstage, 1 was in front of the crowd. And the first segment was attire. They did have judges. One of them was a comedian. I totally forgot his name. Another judge was Kit Wilson. And the other judge is the current Evolve champion, Aaron Rourke. And they was pretty much the judges, but it was weird because they was talking about fan voting, but then it was also going off of judge voting at the same time. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like they didn't necessarily make it 100% clear, but the first round was attire. And it was formal, it was casual, and it was swimsuit. And I think they kind of gave it to Tristan as far as the judges overall gave it to Tristan for that. And it was like, okay. And once again, this is one of those you gotta kind of like suspend your belief. You know, you gotta kind of suspend your belief. You kind of have to just go with the flow, go with the punches. You know, it's just, you know, letting it be. You know what I'm saying? You have to just let it be sometimes. Sometimes you have to subscribe to a little bit of whimsy. And that's kind of what this is, subscribing to a little bit of whimsy. But that was part one. More on that later. Next, we do get a segment with Miles Porter and Tavion Heights. And they're back there talking. And pretty much Tavion was kind of like, you know, him, you know, them tag teaming was actually pretty cool. And, you know, he was kind of missing it. And, you know, Bourne was like, man, look, I gotta figure out what I'm who I'm trying to defend this title against. And Tavion was like, man, look, all you do is just concern yourself with this title. How about I challenge you? And, you know, Bourne was like, well, shit, you know, that's what you want to do, big dog. And then the Vanity Project shows up. And the Vanity Project was like, well, mainly it was more, the whole group was there, but it was Jackson Drake. Words traded back and forth. And pretty much next week, Jackson Drake, Tavion Heights, winner's going to take on Miles Bourne at Bash at the... Nope. Wrong show. Great American Bash. Not Bash at the Beach. Then we get the NXT Spotlight segment with Tate Wilder, and it's pretty much kind of showing off, you know, Tate Wilder, pretty much him running down his backstory and how and why he's the way he is, and this, that, and the third. Okay, cool. Then we actually get to that number one contenders match. Kalani Jordan, Kendall Gray, winner takes on Lola Vice. And once again, like I mentioned in the beginning, I wasn't mad at it. And the beauty of it was, this isn't the first time we really seen these ladies go at it. And one of the things that's been interesting is, you know, Kendall Gray has been pretty much chasing that championship. You know, back when JC had it, she was chasing it, come so close. And the other storyline is that technically, Kalani has never had an opportunity at the NXT Women's Championship. Yes, she was the first Women's North American champ. Yes, she was TNA Knockouts champ, but she has never truly had a chance to fight for the NXT Women's Championship. And it was like, that is so interesting kind of energy. And once again, these ladies, you know, with their gymnastic, wrestling background and all of that comes into play, it was not a bad match. Ultimately, Kendall took Kalani to the gray zone, or the gray area. The gray area, which is pretty much her jumping. I forgot the name of the move. It was R-Truth's old finisher. I forgot the technical name to it, but Kendall does get the dub. So Lola, Kendall, Great American Bash. Yeah. Round 2 of the Mr. NXT pageant. we get, oh, you know what? Made a mistake, guys. This match happened after the first round of the NXT Mr. NXT pageant. Mason Rook took on Naraku to see who Tony D was going to face at Great American Bash. I'm looking over the notes and I really don't know how I skipped it. But yes, once again, I'm not mad at it. You can kind of tell that these two gentlemen had to get used to each other. Because Naraku is used to wrestling a certain style. With Mason being still new, he's probably used to wrestling a certain style, but it still wasn't a bad showing for both men. Now, the closing moments of this match, Cam Hendricks showed up, pretty much distracted Mason. Naraku hits his finisher. Now, for the people who was familiar with him being evil, his sweeping STO was called Everything is Evil. Well, now in NXT, his sweeping STO, Entering the Abyss. So there you go. Instead of Everything is Evil, Entering the Abyss. And Mason entered the Abyss. 1, 2, 3. Naraku gets that dub. And he is officially your #1 contender. And he will get that shot at Tony D at Great American Bash. So yeah. Now we will get back to round 2. And round 2 was special talent. Shiloh went first, and pretty much he solved the Rubik's Cube in a minute. And then he was like, oh, I had more time. So I forgot what it is. It's that little yo-yo type thing on the big string. And he was, doing his little thing on there. And then Tristan got jealous and he was like, oh, I can solve a Rubik's Cube. And he grabbed the Rubik's Cube, and yeah, it didn't work out. And it was like, hey, big dog, it's taking you longer than a minute for you to do this. And from there, Christian tried to juggle, and they was like, he was juggling, but then they was like, we don't care. And then here comes Shiloh juggling on a tricycle, and they was like, pretty much, yeah, Shiloh gets the pretty much Shiloh wins that round. If it was like going like that, Shiloh pretty much wins that round. Then, like I said, Kendall Gray beating Kalani Jordan. So Kendall Gray is the #1 contender to Lola Vice, Great American Bash. Then Tony D. So now we fast forward. Tony D has a segment. And he's pretty much, he's pretty much being asked about, him going against Naraku. Naraku hands him a box. And to fast forward, it's pretty much for them to have a conversation next week. That's pretty much what it was. An invitation to have a conversation come next week. Yeah. Then we get Jasper Troy versus Dion Lennox. And this is stemming from the fact of, Osiris and Dion beat up on Jasper in Stone's office. So once again, solid back and forth. Midway in the match, kind of like early in the match, Shaquan appeared on the screen and he was like, hey, Dion, kind of energy. And, kind of caused a little distraction. But they were still back and forth. Ultimately, Dion does get the dub. And then Saquon appears on the screen again. And his video was kind of buffering and messing up. Good distraction technique for him to use that pipe or bat, and pretty much take out Osiris Griffin. So he dips. So now Dion is a man by himself. Unless Dark State is going to randomly add a new member. But Dion is currently by himself because Cutler is taken out. Now Osiris is taken out. Dion is all alone. Then they show footage of Jada Parker going to Natty's heart dungeon, causing a kerfuffle. Get with that. They announced next week it's finally going to go down. Jada and Natty. So definitely looking forward to that. Then we get to the final portion of Mr. NXT. I removed the wrong thing, guys. Well, we get to the final portion of Mr. NXT, and it is public speaking. And pretty much, if I remember correctly, the question is, why should you be Mr. NXT? I think. And they both gave their reasons. And then it was like, okay, now it's up to the judges. And this is where I got confused because they've been pumping a QR code for the people to vote. So it was like, okay, so that comedian, he voted for Shiloh. Kit Wilson voted for Tristan. And Aaron Rourke, he was like, I'm gonna leave it up to the fans. Then the crowd pretty much was saying Shiloh. Then they revealed the voting system, and they said it later during the main event that Shiloh won like 77%. So Shiloh's your Mr. NXT. And of course, Tristan didn't like that. So Tristan started beating up on Shiloh with his cane and everything. So we're definitely going to get this one-on-one between these two gentlemen. And I'm pretty sure it's probably either going to happen maybe at the Go Home Show 2 Great American Bash, or it could potentially happen at Great American Bash. Now, to speak more on this, the only reason I'm a little I guess with this is because Tristan just got there, and the fans got a little used to Shiloh already. Shiloh's been there. We've been getting these segments. We've been seeing his character. He's been in matches, whether he wins or lose. He has great personality. You know, people love them some Shiloh. Like, let's just be honest. People love them some Shiloh. Now, with you bringing in Tristan, who, if you didn't watch Evolve, you didn't know who the gentleman is. So for them to have this kind of Mr. NXT situation so soon, it kind of didn't do Tristan favors because he's only been there a cup of coffee. You know what I'm saying? Like, it would have been, considering his last beef was Ricky Saints, it would have been different if Ricky Saints stayed on NXT a little bit longer, and then it was like, well, who's Mr. NXT, Shiloh or Ricky? Then it would have been like, ooh, you know, kind of thing. But we knew everybody was going to choose Shiloh because Tristan is still new to us. You know what I'm saying? Tristan's only been there, no offense to him, a cup of coffee. So that was my only, I guess, gripe about, the situation, is the fact that it kind of did Tristan no favors. Now, that segment with Naraku, he was talking to Stone, and then when Naraku walks away, Keanu Carver comes up, and Keanu is pretty much like, hey, Naraku got tired of matches, people leapfrogging me, and this, that, and the third. Who I'm gonna fight next kind of energy. And Stone was like, okay, I'll try to tell you next week. Let me find somebody to fight you kind of energy. And he was like, all right, because if you don't, I'm gonna go find somebody to kind of beat up on kind of energy. Then we get to our main event for that NXT Women's North American Championship. Big Tatum Paxley is defending against Zarya. Zarya started this match off hot. She wants that championship. She wants the championship, and she was going to do whatever she needed to do to get said championship. And this was definitely a main event fight. Easily. Like, this could have been on Great American Bash if I'm being honest, because these ladies went at it. Some great back and forth, some great action. Like I told you, I wasn't mad with any of the matches that happened tonight, and this was no exception. I appreciated everything these ladies was throwing at each other for the duel they had, and ultimately, a few finishers, 1, 2, 3, And nigga, Women's North American Champion, Zarya. She finally has won gold in NXT, y'all. Finally won her some gold in NXT. And it's going to be interesting to see what they do with Zarya's reign. Like, I wonder if they're going to potentially run it back on Great American Bash, or something else is going to happen. But yeah, and there was no shenanigans. Zarya just overpowered and just, went in. She had a plan and she saw it through. Now, I don't know how close Paxley was to 100 days, but they said she was coming in close. So, yeah. But, love me some Tatum. Love me some Zarya. And I love this match. I did not have any gripes about this match. Now, a part of me did not think the title was going to change hands. I will be the first to admit I did not think the title was going to change hands. I honestly thought Tatum was going to pull off maybe a surprise roll-up, maybe potentially hit the cemetery drive, but nope. Zarya got that dub, and it was like, oh shit, So yeah, they also announced that the women's speed tournament was happening next week. I know Izzy Dame is taking on Thea Hale, and Layla Diggs was taking on, I forgot who Layla Diggs was supposed to take on. But the speed tournament for the women start next week. Like I mentioned, Miles Bourne is taking on Jackson Drake to see who's going. Nope. Tavion Heights is taking on Jackson Drake to see who's going to take on Miles Bourne. We have Kendall Gray, number one contender. We also have Miraku, number one contender. I hope they do something with the tag team championships at some point, because yeah. Keanu Carver is looking for a challenger. So we got some exciting things heading into Great American Bash. And once again, big congratulations to Zarya for finally getting some of that NXT gold. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, this edition of NXT.A.G is now over. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for rocking with your boy. Whether you love it or hate it, don't forget to rate it. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Leave all your comments, cares, and concerns down in the comments. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell as well. Shout out to Lil Dizzle, Jägerbone Bastard, The Juggernaut Show, aka Juggs, aka The Forbidden Door. And shout outs to Kicking It with Leo. And until next time, you beautiful human beings, love one another, love yourself, take care of one another, and take care of yourself. And until then, you beautiful people, don't forget to tag out. Peace.
Free fall as I die through the kaleidoscope in my mind. No rope up to climb. Gotta remind myself that I'm fine. Mama.